There are two types of table you will find in Excel. First is normal table that we use in day-to-day life. For example, these two. And the second one is official Excel table. We will talk about the official Excel table and what is the benefit of using that in a while. But before that, I want to show you one of the biggest loophole or one of the biggest limitation of using static table. For example, we have this table here and we want to create a pivot table using this. So we will do this by clicking any cell in the table and click insert tab, click on pivot table and select this from table range. Or we can just use our shortcut key, which is Alt N V T. Select the existing worksheet, select the location, press OK. Now let's find out what all are the regions and how many executives are working in each of the region. Now let's add some more data in this source table. So I have this data present here. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. Will this reflect here? Because the number of employees has been increased. So this should also increase, but no, this won't. This is because this is just a static table. This is not a dynamic table. We have to convert this into a dynamic table. To do that, we will just select any cell and go to insert tab, and this is the option of converting this into a table, an official Excel table. Or we can use the shortcut key by clicking any cell in the table. Make sure that there is nothing touching with this table from any of the sides. And we will select the cell, press Ctrl and T together. Now there is this option of whether you have any header in the table or not. So we will select yes, I have these three headers. So press OK, and this is done. Now let's create pivot table. So I'll select any cell, click on insert or pivot table, or we can just go ahead and click Alt and VT. Existing worksheet, select the cell, OK. I'll drag region in the rows area and executive name in the values area. Now let's grab all the data that you want to update in the source file. I'll paste it here. Now refresh this. And as you can see, this is dynamic. So whenever we want to add a new data here and refresh, you will find that everything is getting updated as you update the source file. So there are a lot of benefit of using Excel tables. Some of them we will see in a couple of while. Now let's use the same technique here also to make these two tables dynamic and make a pivot chart or maybe a small dashboard using this. So for that, let's click any cell, press Ctrl T, make sure there is nothing touching in between, press OK. And now let's change the name, order, details. Now we'll do the same to this one also, Ctrl T, press OK, EMP details, done. Now why I have changed the name of this table, we will see in a couple of while. So let's start by multiplying these two units and unit cost to find out the total revenue. So equals this into this one. Now you must have noticed that in this particular formula, this is not referring to a particular cell. This is referring to complete column. Okay, so next we will use VLOOKUP to find out the executive name and region from this table. So I'll start by typing VLOOKUP. Lookup value will be this one, comma. Now for table array, we need to select the complete table. So you can either select the complete table or you can just type the name of the table that you have earlier assigned. So next is column index. So column index will be 2 because this is the column we want. And then exact match, bracket close, enter. And now we will do the same thing again here also. So we will lookup value will be of course the employee ID, comma. Let's type the name of the table, employee details, comma. Third one, exact match, bracket close, enter. By the way, maintaining a good number format for each of the column is very good habit while creating a report. So we'll do that by selecting the cells or the column, the complete column, by pressing Ctrl Shift down arrow Now since both of these column contains currencies, we will select or go to home table and select currency from here, or you can do the same thing with a shortcut key, which is control shift and 4. Now in my laptop, this is a rupees sign here because my laptop is set up according to Indian keyboard setting. For you it may be US dollar or euro, it depends on your setting. Okay, now let's just create a dashboard using this table. So we'll start by using the pivot table. For that, let's select any cell in the table. I'll type Alt N V T to open the pivot table dialog box. I want a new worksheet, so I'll select and then OK. Now let's format this particular uh, field. So I'll select move by this drop down list. I'll move this and adjust the size. You can adjust and or change the view of this particular dialog box by clicking on this gear icon and select whatever format you want. I have selected the second item. The default is this one, the first item. Now first thing I want to know is what is the sales trend throughout the 2014 and 2015 year. So I'll select the order date in rows area. Now you must notice that there is this 2 years mentioned here, and that's all. There is this plus icon also, which if you want you can expand, and you can see that there is this quarter one or quarter wise data which is coming. And if you want to expand the same further, then you will also see the month at which the sales or the sales is being going on. So if you want to exclude this quarter area, you can just drag it and put it anywhere outside, and this is done. Only year and order data, which is month wise data throughout 2 years, is here. Now second thing is we want to know the total revenue, so we will drag the total revenue and put it in the values area. Now let's do some modification with the pivot table. By selecting any cell in the table, you will see there are two different menu bars that is being highlighted here. If you select outside, it won't come, so you have to select cell in the table. Now go to pivot table, analyze. Here you can see the field list is coming. So this is where if in case you mistakenly close the dialog box, you can just open the field list by clicking here. Second thing is you can go to design and change the report layout by clicking report layout and selecting tabular form, show in tabular form. This is more of a comprehensible view of the table. Third is you can change the subtotal view. So in case you want to change the subtotal, for example 2014 that subtotal is this much and 2015 subtotal is this much. So if you want to exclude these two, or even if you want to exclude the grand total, for that you can select the subtotal and do not show subtotal. It will exclude the subtotal of the year wise subtotal. And if you want to exclude this grand total also, you can just select go to design and grand total off to row and row. We want them to be here, so let it be. Secondly, we will select the column, the total revenue column, and I'll change the number format. So for that, let's select the complete column and press Control Shift and force. Simultaneously, it will change the number format to currency. Third thing is we will just copy this. If you want to change the header, you can just double click any of the header and you can change the name of, and you can also change what kind of function that you want to use. So for example, if you want to count, you can just count, press on count, or you can change the average, max, and a lot of different options are here. So now let's check the responsiveness and how dynamic is our data table. For that, let's include some more data in our table. So I have this data which is present here. Let's copy this and I'll paste it here. Now you can see how dynamic this looks like. So for example, we have only these particular table which is columns which are static, and these are the calculated columns.
First thing is total revenue, executive name, which is being fetched from this particular table by referring this particular column, and the region, and everything is getting calculated and adjusted accordingly just by pasting here. And let's check the pivot table. So I'll go to the pivot table and right click and click on this refresh button, and yes, there is this change. So earlier it was 8699 or whatever, and now this is 10588. So it is getting updated, and this is the benefit of using uh, Excel table. It helps us create a dynamic table which is completely responsive and comprehensive. You can adjust everything accordingly. Now let's create one more pivot table. I'll copy the first one and paste it here. I don't need on all of these fields. I'll select executive name in the rows. I want to know how much sales each of the executives have done throughout these 2 years. So for that, let's select total revenue in the values area, and second table is also complete. Let's create a chart using for the first one. I'll go to insert. For that, let's go to insert tab, and you can go ahead and select the recommended chart. Go with the line tab here, and I'll select this one. I want to know the sales trend throughout the 2 years. I will be making a dedicated video on dashboard using pivot table and maybe pivot. For the time being, let's keep it as it is. You can change everything here. You can select plus sign. You can modify anything you want. I don't need, let's say, this three buttons. So let's right click anywhere in their button, and you can just hide all field charts. This will be a clutter free. You can change the name of this header and whatever you want. Now for the timing, it is done. This is the first chart. Let's create one more chart using this one. This will be a bar chart. So I'll click anywhere in the pivot table. I'll go to insert. Recommended chart will be the first one, and yeah, you can just adjust this. Yeah. And done. Now whenever we want to, like, let's say, edit or modify the source table, let's say we want to just delete this, and let's say if it is getting reflected in the dashboard. So we will right click anywhere in the any of the pivot table and click refresh, and as you can see, the whole dashboard is getting updated. Yeah, this dashboard is not looking that much aesthetic for the time being because I have not given so much time on this. My main objective was to explain how official Excel table or the Excel table feature can be helpful to make our dashboard more dynamic, and how it can help us make a responsive dashboard. Well, that's all for today. Thank you.